There's been the misconception in this band for years, dude, that there's some kind of a womanizing overtone or we have some kind of an issue with women, and it's not the case. It's a matter of loving women, and it's about praise. It's about the praise and the love, dude, for the large and lovely women.
Hey guys, it's me, Monika G. Thanks for listening to the 421 podcast. I'm here with my buddy Bogart. What's up, Bogart?
Bogart Bluntsworth is the name. Hey Monika, how's it going? Hope things are great.
They are going swimmingly. Actually, speaking of swimming, I didn't go swimming today, but I did soak in a sensory deprivation tank. That was pretty exciting.
Must have been such a good escape from this pandemic thing.
For a whole 60 minutes, you just shut out the whole world.
Awesome.
It was both exciting and relaxing.
I can't wait to try it.
You definitely should. We should take the podcast in there.
This is Bogart sitting in the dark in the cold water. It's not cold, actually. I don't know. I've never been.
They give you a whole rundown when you go in. It's kind of mind-boggling. You walk in, they're like, take your shoes off, and then they're telling you all these instructions, and you don't know what to expect because you're freaking out because you're like, I'm gonna be soaking all by myself.
Sensory deprived?
Yeah. Cool. I'm usually in sensory overload, like 100% of the time.
Must have been so nice to get away from it, though.
It was.
Just to get your phone out of there, all the stresses of the world, all your muscles.
I'm not gonna lie, though.
Gravity out of there.
Yes. Oh. No gravity, no pain, because there's a ton of Epsom salt, but do not get it in your mouth. Don't recommend that.
Does it taste good?
No, it does not taste good. I got some in my mouth at the very end when I was getting out. So anyways, thanks everyone for listening to the 421 podcast. It's brand new. This is our first episode. And we're going to kick it off with a 420 session featuring a spotlight flower that we think really just kind of embraces and captures the essence of our guest. And today's guest is none other than Dephinger. They are Phoenix's punk rock legends. They've been around since 1999. Their first show was live on KFNX, 1100 AM. The show was Skate of the State, and KFNX, 1100 AM, is still around today.
Oh. Well, I have heard Dephinger, and they are sneaky good.
Sneaky good.
I mean, their antics would lead you to believe they are not good, but they are very talented, and their music is actually quite enjoyable, so sneaky good.
Since we have Dephinger here, the spotlight flower that we're featuring is called RudeBoi.
They are pretty rude boys.
They are not known for being polite.
I have heard some of these stories, and RudeBoi is the nicest thing we could say about them.
Now, some of the characteristics of RudeBoi, though, I feel are also reminiscent of Dephinger and their expression of art through music.
So you're telling me it's sneaky good. This RudeBoi is sneaky good.
It is sneaky good.
Yeah.
It's so sneaky good. We should try it.
Let's do it.
We're going to light it up right now. So we're trying this sneaky good cerebral. So I want to talk about cerebral for just a second because
it sneaks into the brain.
It does. And don't you feel like Dephinger's lyrics are definitely cerebral?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear a bunch of stories today. The things that you wouldn't expect to hear from their music that they're playing. They're about to tell us a bunch of sneaky shit. Let me hit this. Let me hit this to the brain.
So, back in 1999, it says here, I have a little fun fact sheet on our guest. It says here that their first bass player was Charles Ampron, and I don't know if you know this, but he used to be a pro skateboarder.
I did not know that. Pro skater turned bassist or pro bassist turned skateboarder?
Ooh, that's like a chicken and egg question, and I'm not sure if I'm the one that can answer that.
Well, let me put it to you this way. If he has a woman right now, he was a pro bassist first turned skater, because we all know bassists can't serenade their women. Boom, 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 boom.
So now, fast forward to today. They're on their fifth or sixth bass player. They've had a lot of them. We're going to find out more about that. 100% DIY they're a touring act, and they've played with national touring acts too. So DIY, they've had 4 albums.
Albums is a strong word,
Okay.
from what I've heard. They have 1 album, 3 things. They'll explain more. We'll toss that.
Well, yeah. Since Your Mammy Got Loose, Eat a Dick, because what else do you say to someone you love? They had a 7-inch split with JFA.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I know your name is Bogart, and I don't want to try to upstage you.
She been Bogarting this shit right now.
Yeah, just call me Talking Stick.
I'll just call you a rude boy. Like, that's what happens.
Rude girl. They've shared the stage with TSOL, the Whitecaps, JFA, the Dwarves, the Dickies, Dayglow Abortions, Bad Shit, Dr. No, Gangrene, Agent Orange. I mean, the list goes on with a number of stellar national touring punk. Yeah, they played with Fang. I saw them. The Fang is one of my favorite punk bands from they're really old, like a long time ago.
Well,
I shouldn't say they're really old.
Bogart Bluntsworth is not that old, and is not very up to anything on music. So basically, any band you're about to throw at me, I'm gonna be like, "Oh crap, I haven't heard them. That's cool." That's what I said about Dephinger like 2 weeks ago. Then they sent me home with a record, and that shit is fire.
I want some drugs! Buy me some drugs! You got the drugs! I want your
Well, I'm feeling both potent and sublime.
You're looking potent.
There you go.
That's Big Nasty from Dephinger. Thanks, guys, for being on the podcast. Now, before we get into it, I want to mention that Sludge is joining us all the way via Skype from Colorado. Thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me.
And Josh lives here, so he came all the way from the couch. Good job, baby. You made it.
Attaboy.
It's the least I could do.
All right. So Josh, give us a little bit of the backstory on the band name Dephinger and how you came up with it.
Alcohol and boredom in the van, and Snake wanted death and I wanted finger.
Wait, who's Snake?
Snake's the childhood friend who we made a pretend band when we were drunk, and just stayed drunk, so the band never was pretend, because I never got sober enough to realize that it was supposed to be pretend. And 20 years later, we're still here, and so it really doesn't mean much of anything. It's just a drunken stupor. Cousin James says it's a Polish bird. You're flipping somebody the bird, but you use the wrong finger because you're Polish.
Because I got to be honest, when I first heard of you guys and I saw the name Dephinger, I was like, what the fuck is the Dephinger? Is that someone's name?
No, it's meaningless.
Nah, dude, it's the Polish fuck you. Come on now.
Or the Polish bird.
How did you meet Nick?
Phoenix at the Guitar Center. Again, when I was working the door.
I had run across this mook at a couple of places before then, but we didn't really know each other by name, just maybe a visual.
He was busy either working or chasing tail in the first 2 encounters. But the 3rd encounter went swimmingly. And here we are, 20 years later.
What'd you guys do?
I guess at Guitar Center, we both worked at Guitar Center for the discount. And
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I recognized him sitting there at the front door, and I'd come back to work there. I'd worked there before, and I'd come back a couple of times, and then I was working in drums, and I went up, and I was like, oh, I remember this dude from a couple of shows, and, you know, being a jackass here and there, and I was like, I'm going to talk to this guy. He looks like the kind of jackass I could hang out with, and so we started talking, and he said, you're a drummer, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's a guitar player. He's all, can you spin your sticks? And I grabbed a stick out of my back pocket and spun my stick. And he says, you're in my band, motherfucker.
Dude, that's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard.
And so, yeah, we went in the acoustic room, and instead of selling guitars and drums, we jammed out. And then it was kind of boring. It was kind of boring that way. And then we decided, before we get any real members or actually do anything, we need to have like a drinking contest for a month.
Yeah.
And see who can outfoul the other one. And so
we didn't even pick up any instruments for the first month. We just drank and talked about how cool our band was.
I saw that in a movie once.
Yeah, it's how it went down, man. Fucking Charles Ampron's couch.
If you put this thing together, you could probably make a movie. The last 20 years, you could make a movie or a book out of this thing, probably. And I'm sure at least a dozen people would buy it.
I want to make that scene. Hey, can you spin your sticks? Yeah. You're in my band, motherfucker. And then they just jam out.
Hey, well, we drank
And
more
history
than
was
more drinking. More. The first 3 years of the band.
I guess it was a jam. Josh played his guitars and sang to me, and I stood there and rocked out. And said, "Yeah, I could play drums to that," and he's all good enough for me.
That's awesome.
That's how all great bands are made.
And then I took my Marshall to the shop with my piddly money that I made from Guitar Center because I was too busy doing other things like drawing Dephinger logos and selling guitars.
Now, you mentioned something about our discount a second ago, and
oh boy,
word on the streets is Dephinger used to have their own discount at Guitar Center.
Oh yeah, we did for a long time, and we just kind of, we kept in touch, over the years after I left the company. I actually ended up working there for about 6 years in total, and I used to travel around and open up stores for them, and some of the guys who were up in management that got hired on when I was in management, after I left, they became the higher ups, and they just always kind of continued to give us a deal, and then, we still got a little bit of a connection there, but not like it used to be. We used to get, they used to pretty much horse some shit out to us.
I shop at Boogie Music now.
So you guys have been playing together since the beginning, but you've had quite the roster of bass players. Why do you think that is?
No, I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. I mean, bass players are a different animal.
They are. They
know
are.
what I mean? Oh, I don't know. It doesn't. I mean, they're an integral part of the band, especially for a drummer. And I think it was about finding the right person, and then over time, some things in the relationship might not work out, might go south. You might not agree, or there's a million issues is why band members change. But I guess because the core of it's been me and Josh since the beginning. We just it's always been that third person that's been the moving part. But I mean, it's not like we didn't have two of our bass players were with us a very long time. So I mean, our first two bass players. First bass player was another guy from Guitar Center, and he was a little tiny Jewish guy that looked like Paul Stanley from Kiss with short hair, and he had a huge wiener, and so we used to call him Andrew Lightsaber. And then he kind of bailed out of the band because we were too wasted for him. And then we had Gabe Ape, who was in my first real attempt at a band, and he was just kind of tied up with other stuff, and we went and found another bass player because he wasn't really showing up or calling us, and then we got the new bass player, and he showed up to practice one day, and we were jamming with the new bass player, and so he cried and left. And then the third bass player was Andy Christ, or Andy Lane, known from ONS and a bunch of different bands in his latest project, Quantum Colossus. But fantastic bass player, great guy. Just had some differences of opinion and I guess dedication and what we were doing and where we were going, and so we moved apart. And he went on to do some awesome projects, and I actually played with him in a few other projects, the Stout Pounder and the Terminals, and we've always remained friends. And then we had a stopgap in Glandor Calagresian. He was a high school chum of mine. And he was a guitar player that was in my first band with Gabe Ape, nonetheless. And so he played with us a couple years, and he couldn't share a bed with Josh on the road, so he quit the band.
He didn't want a spoon?
It happens.
Yeah, and he's a little bit too individualistic. He just didn't really, didn't have the Three Musketeers mentality, but he did a great job for us. And then,
Absolutely.
as of most recent, Chris Warmuth, who's played in a ton of bands over the years, and fantastic player and fantastic guy, and he Andy, backtrack. Andy was in the band for almost 9 years, and then we had, so let me backtrack a little more. First two guys were in about a year. Andy was in for about 8 or 9 years. Then Glandor Calagrecian was in for about a year and a half to 2, and then Chris Warmuth was in the last 6. And 40% Badass wouldn't be the same without him on bass.
Well, since we're on the topic of bass players, I know you guys have a surprise guest here with you today. But before we get to that, I got to thank my sponsor, Spirit Printing. Spirit Printing has budget-friendly solutions for all your printing needs. They offer screen printing, banners, posters, business cards, artwork, and more. They did my logo. It's super amazing, and you can get a screaming deal. Give them a call, 602-789-4710, and get a quote on whatever it is you're trying to do. I've even seen some really cool water bottles that they've printed. And everyone needs water, right?
Especially when you got cotton mouth.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the perfect solution.
Yeah, see, that's why we keep Nick around.
Heart condition. I'm in the will. Heart condition. I seal the deal. Grandma's coming home. Pack your shit and go.
We're with Pro Marijuana Rockers, Sludge and Big Nasty from Dephinger. And we were talking about bass players before the break. Okay, so to recap, how many bass players have you guys had?
6 now.
So-
We're on 6. We're on 6
So
now.
you're on bass player number 6.
Yes.
Yeah. We're like the Red Hot Chili Peppers with guitar
You
players.
guys want a drum roll
We have a
to
drum-
announce bass player number 6?
Oh, wait a minute, you're the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you gotta spin your sticks.
Yeah, you gotta spin your sticks, Nick.
All right.
Spin it,
Giving you a
man.
Dephinger.
It's Dephinger.
Nice.
Bogart.
That's what I did when Josh met me. He said, "Can you spin your stick?" And I said, "Fuck you."
No, that's not true.
No, it was a real stick. It just
We got over to
Sound
Charles Ampron's house, and I said, "Can you show me how you spin your sticks again?" He pulled his dong out and started swinging it around.
Dick helicopter.
All right, so here's the big reveal. Skarkus from the district. Got some big shoes to fill.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Skarkus, welcome. You live up to the famous roster of bass player names.
Well, I got a lot of work to do, but, it's an honor and a privilege to be part of the organization. Dephinger's been in the game for a long time and have always posted stellar stats, and it's nice to be part of the franchise.
You really bring a lot in terms of musicianship. You've been with a lot of projects here in the area.
Yeah, that's true.
What were some of those?
I started off with the Downtown Dramatics, and I played with Desaad, which was a kind of a punk industrial band.
And they're pretty international too, aren't they?
No, there's also a fake Desaad, I think. So sometimes we were getting residual Facebook messages from them. So, but they did a lot of great things. They had, members from Automatic Self-Destruct, and an absolutely fun band to play with. Very easygoing guys. Had a lot of fun. Did some cool shows, and then moved on to the Glides. That was my most recent band project. And, to answer your question, those were some of the bands I've been with.
So, are you ready to be in a real band now?
I think so. I think
Show us your penis.
it's time to lace up and put on my shoes.
All right, and so for our listeners who might not know, you've actually known Nick and Josh for kind of a long time.
Yeah, I've known Nick since high school. We became friends back then. We were from adjacent neighborhoods that later became the district collectively.
In the hood. The district in the hood.
And after that, I didn't see him for a long time. Maybe once or twice here or there. You were working at that garage. And
doesn't I work at Exxon?
Yeah. And eventually, I'd heard all these stories about Dephinger. They had been making quite a name throughout the city for antics. And I'd never seen them. And I bumped into Nick at the Rogue West one night. I believe that's how it was. And from there, started talking. I had just gotten in the Downtown Dramatics. And Nick scored us a gig at the Yucca.
Sweet.
Which we had no pull, we had no chance of getting to the Yucca, and Nick put that together for us. So, and then eventually, me and Josh became friends. At first, I think he just chalked us up to a bunch of preppies that. And it wasn't until after we played a show at what was that hockey bar, the
Ice House.
Ice House Tavern.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we had a little after-party session, and then I feel like Josh thought we earned our stripes party-wise. We may even pulled a gold medal round. I don't know.
What's a gold medal round?
A gold medal round is when you essentially close down the bar at 2 a.m., you never fall asleep, you stay up partying, and you go back to the bar at 6 a.m. It's not really something you should try. You should be forced into it. It has to be. It has to be organic.
It should be against your will.
Well, there's been so many people who it turned into such a ridiculous thing that people were trying to stay up. It's not about trying to stay up. You're supposed to be having a great time and partying the whole time. And the next logical move is to show up at the bar at 6 a.m.
Right.
Yeah, you look down at your watch and go, oh shit, the bar's back open, let's go.
Yeah.
It helps when the coxsman has a swimming pool in his backyard.
And it's not a stimulants thing, know. It would be very easy to snort down a rail or something to keep you going, but that's not.
No one does.
That's really not what it's about. It's a boozer's thing.
It's true pugilism. It's one long round, not a number of small rounds.
You don't understand. You see, Mark walks around with shots on a silver tray all night and all morning, and it's not like you're just like slinging bears. No, it's full throttle from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. at the pool, full throttle drinking.
I like to be a good host.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will say Mark is a great host.
Thank you. Thanks, Monika.
So, since you've known these guys for... Oh, go ahead, Bogart.
How long have you been with Dephinger? Like, how long has this been going on?
I've been with Dephinger for, a couple of days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big announcement.
I think we made it official, I don't know, about a month ago.
No, about a minute ago.
Even play a song with Monika.
So about a minute ago, right? The announcement
You
here.
were here for it, Bogart. I'm sorry that
Dope. That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry that you were so stoned you missed it, but
Well,
that was our big reveal.
Well, I didn't know he was joining right this fucking minute.
Right this minute. But they've known each other for so long.
Breaking news.
And Mark has actually provided some non-traditional tour support for Dephinger. What's one of the craziest things that's happened to you hanging out with these hooligans on the road?
Gee, I don't even remember. That's how fogged out I was.
Here's tour support. Josh, dude, let's go to the bar, dude. It's 12:30. I've got to sing tonight. Dude, come on, let's do one shot, dude. Like that's cool. Nick won't know. It's cool. Yeah, that's tour support.
Yeah, I really had to twist his arm.
really, it came down to is, Mark went along for a good time. I wouldn't necessarily say he did watch the merch booth a couple times.
Barely.
He watched it.
Didn't carry any gear.
Didn't sell anything.
Pretty much he went for the good time in true Skunkus form, and supported the party aspect, but.
That's important.
I don't know what would be the crazy. I mean, there's a few crazy things that happened on the road with Mark as a guest on tour with us that we probably will never talk about. there's
My favorite is was Star Dave or Star Mike in Austin. Some dude with tattoo face and like just a punk, you know. And Mark goes out of the room and this guy looks at us and goes, "What's with the straight guy?" And me and Nick are just like, if you only knew.
Yeah.
Right.
Mark will break your liver.
Yeah, that was a good one over at Darren's house.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, you know, I know there was a couple of pretty crazy things that happened that we can talk about.
Tell the cunt story.
Well, yeah, this is pre-Mark, but let me see if I remember this correctly. So this is prior to Josh's relationship that he's currently in. But we were on the road with long tour. I think that was when we went to Skateopia, if I remember correctly. But we were trying to get a show in Little Rock, and we couldn't get a show, but we had met this girl in this band called The Cunts. So they offered for us to stay at their compound, and it was Josh's birthday, and I felt like this would have been a great match for Josh on the road. So we went to go pretty much just hang out with this chick and her friends, and Andy got into the middle of the situation that was pretty much set up for Josh's birthday, and he kind of stepped in front of Josh and started to work on this girl that we had met online that we were staying with, and so one thing led to another, and he went upstairs with her, and things didn't really...
Talk about what upstairs was.
Well, I just remember it was like an attic or something, wasn't it? Just
like insulation and mattresses.
Like insulation. There's all these people flopping around, a bunch of like, you know, politically correct, like vegan people. And, you know, I don't know how to explain them, but they were
like a food not bombs type of thing.
They were definitely not the punk rock that we know and love. Let's just put it that way. And so he went upstairs, and something happened up there that didn't work. I think Andy couldn't get himself to full mast, so to speak, and it offended the young lady. And so she came downstairs making some egregious claims against the band, and so basically we had a mounting party of unhappy, politically correct, like emo-ish kind of weird vegan, strange kind of punk, not punks, dude, like threatened to call the cops on us, dude, if we didn't get up and get the hell out of there. And so yeah, like 3 a.m, dude, we're like throwing everything in the van as fast as possible so we don't end up in a jail cell.
In Little Rock, Arkansas.
Got chased out of there, you know what I mean? I mean, it was, you know, that's the simplified light version.
That was pretty much it, though. Sounds about right to me.
Yeah, that was pre Mark, you know. I'm trying to think. I know there was something that crazy that happened on the road with Mark, but there's been so many fucking stories on the road, I just can't remember which one it is.
There was damn near a fist fight on the road.
Oh yeah, that was outside it was outside the bar. We were outside the bar at the end of the night, and
where was that?
I remember it was in San Antonio, and basically we're in the parking lot, and I yelled out, "All right, everybody who wants to go back to our hotel room and have a pull-off," because it was all dudes. And some cowboy got offended by it, dude, and he decided he was going to try and fight with me, and I looked at him dead in the eye and said, "I will stop your breathing where you stand, and you will die in this parking lot if you take another step." And his buddies decided that I probably wasn't the right dude to fuck with, and so they dragged him away. But it came pretty close. It wasn't, you know, you're talking about, there's a fight in the bar. Yes, there was a fight in the bar between two girls, and Mark, being the ladies' man he is, decided that he would just help fall into the fight and just kind of lay around in the middle of the fight while these girls fought all over the top of him. And he just kind of fell down into the fight and was like, "Hey, dudes!" And these chicks were just basically beating the tar out of each other, like on top of Mark. And
Mark's the peacemaker.
Just laying in the middle of it, rolling around like it was puppies or something.
it was like he was in the middle of a mud wrestling tournament, but there was no mud.
Yes.
He hates to see people fight.
I was trying to strike some diplomacy.
Yes, that's what you want to call it. But yeah,
It's aggressive peacemaking.
Let's see. The zombie bar. Mark was at the zombie bar.
That was San Antonio, yeah.
yeah, that was awesome. It was this killer stage, and it was huge, and there was like 10 people there.
Great sound.
We did play the bar of soap.
That was in Dallas before
Bar of
Mark's
soap.
time. Yeah,
There was a
Bar of soap.
laundromat and a bar.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So-
the laundromat with the bar, and we walked in the door, and the first thing that happens is this chick comes barreling out of the door, and she goes, "See this bag right here? This bag's for you and me later when we're gonna go fuck." And then she goes, "Do you see this bag of heroin right here? I'm gonna go do this right now and come back, and then we'll do this bag." And I go, "Okay, whatever, you know." And then she just stumbled out the door, and I never saw her again. Broke my heart. It was my chance to get it.
It was called the bar of soap, but they
Yeah,
called
the
it the
bar of soap, but the
bar of
nickname
dope.
Yeah, that the
Was
nickname,
anybody
Bar of Dope.
doing laundry while you were playing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
There was a
absolutely.
whole sea. There was probably like 30 machines in the back of the bar, and
We played with Dino Core.
yeah, straight edge teenage punkers, dude. Yeah, they were cool. They were
Yeah.
good players, good kids. They didn't give a shit that we were all wasted, but I mean they were just straight edge themselves, and I'm sure they were just straight edge because they were 16.
Right.
You know, I'm sure in every 2 years they were fucking blowing it. It's usually the thing, you know.
Talk about Skateopia.
Oh, that wasn't my
That
favorite
wasn't
show.
My favorite show of all time. Actually, it sucked.
That shit sucked bad.
We got really hammered and we played like shit, and we got a terrible slot, dude. And actually, we got a really good slot, but everybody was so hammered by then. Yeah, it was a disaster.
I heard
dude.
Josh
mean,
almost died.
Yeah, a few times. In the back of the car when I first got there, I jumped in the back of Bruce's car, and he took off, and the seat wasn't bolted into the trunk; it was just in the trunk, and he's jumping the thing.
Bruce who?
Martin, the owner of Skateopia, and luckily he got a flat tire. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know. I was scared for my life. Like we just gotten there, got out of the truck, and he pulls up in the pink pussy wagon with his flashing cop lights, and I jumped in the trunk. There was a seat, and he just peeled out around this fucking dirt derby track with jumps and shit. And I was one of the biggest mistakes. I got off lucky, but that could have looked. Oh man, I don't know how I got away with that one. But yeah, that was right up there with Nick jumping on the roof of the van downtown Glendale at 3 o'clock in the morning, while I'm drunk as fuck driving down the street, and he's surfing on top of my van. Like,
Teen Wolf, man. Teen
yeah,
Wolf.
it was. How did we not go to prison?
I don't know.
So for our listeners who don't know what Skateopia is, tell me a little bit about that.
It's 88 acres of anarchy in a void of laws between West Virginia and Ohio, where anything goes, and it's just filled with skate ramps and scumbags, and it's like Lord of the Flies, dude, for skateboarders, man. Like one weekend out of every year.
They still do it?
And,
Oh yeah.
not anymore, really.
It's
I mean,
still
they do it
there.
a different way.
Yeah.
It's still there. The
You
place
can
is
go
still
there.
but Bruce unfortunately got hit in the head really hard due to the tire iron, and he had some damage, and his son Hellskull has taken it over, and Hellskull runs it a bit of a different way, and they're kind of anti the whole corporate part of skateboarding, you know, and they kind of stay away from that now. And it's they still have the Bowl Bash, but I think they've skipped a few years here and there with Bruce's health, and I'm sure if we wanted to go do it again, we could, but I don't know if I want to go through, you know, I don't know if I'd survive another trip there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Vendors.
So you guys, you've toured all over the United States, and I know it's happened to celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, Wiz Khalifa, Johnny Cash back in the day. The list goes on. Did Dephinger ever get stopped at the best little checkpoint in Sierra Blanca, Texas?
We got checked, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we got pulled over and got hassled. You know what I mean? It was, you know. Do you want me to take this one, Josh, or do you want to take it?
Well, the one time we stashed our weed under a rock next to a couch, and in the middle of the desert before the checkpoint, and they stopped us anyway. And I think it was because we had a lot of beef jerky in the truck, but they said no. But we didn't have any weed, but they
must
stopped
have
us.
stank because we
Well,
stopped.
the dog flagged us. The dog, you know, motioned that, you know, they needed to check our truck, and Josh thinks it's the beef jerky, but it was the residue of the aroma from the flour that was in there, you know, 10 minutes beforehand. It was still emanating through his clothes. You know, and when the cops even asked us, they said, "Did you guys know we were here?" And well, we're all, "Who doesn't know you're here?" And he's all, "Why is my dog flagging this bag?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, because we got rid of all the weed before we got here, dude. We're not stupid."
So they didn't find anything.
Yeah, and we gave him some CDs and left.
Cops came, we on the run. And then the cops came, they threw us some cuts. And then the cops came, we were shit out of luck. Got the king of beer. The girls are coming near. The band's about to play. You know I'm gonna get laid. And the cops came, just having fun. And then the cops came, we on the run. And then the cops came, they threw us some cuts. And then the cops came, we were shit out of luck.
We never told the Vegas story. Told the Vegas hotel.
The Vegas hotel. The one with
Yeah, when Josh got kicked in the balls.
the
by
ball
the
kicking. Well,
feminists.
yeah, you know, she didn't appreciate some of the Dephinger lyrics.
So where was
And,
this?
It was in Austin.
Austin, Texas?
We just arrived in Austin.
Oh, the Vegas. This is where I was confused. I thought we were talking about Las Vegas.
And,
No. He did tour with us to Las Vegas, though, too.
And we had just linked up with Darren, right, from the Dream Destroyers.
Yep.
And got down there to the show. Everybody's getting ready, having a great night. Play the show. Everyone's partying, and I guess this girl was just hanging out and stewing in the back of the venue. I'm not exactly sure which of the songs pissed her off.
I think she was the singer of the band that played before us, wasn't she?
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was. Yes.
So I think this was one of the few times that I was actually moving some merch, and I didn't actually see it go down, but I remember pretty much the aftermath. I walked out there, and she was still yelling and screaming, and yeah, she tried to kick Josh in the balls.
Nice.
I had a guitar in each hand, like a guitar case in each hand.
She must have picked her moment.
Oh yeah.
What'd
I
you
think
say
I
to
was trying to hit on her or something. Maybe not.
Actually, I think he was.
I don't know. I was walking out with two guitars, and I said something. She didn't like me one bit. And next thing you know, she was kicking me in the balls.
Did she actually get you?
If
Did it land?
I studied kung fu.
if I remember right, she tried kicking him in the balls, and he actually presented an opportunity for her to do it again, and she railed him right, and he looked her dead in the eye and said, "Is that all you got, baby?"
We weren't trying to be political. We were trying to get drunk and have fun and piss people off, and we achieved that.
You know, the beauty of Dephinger for all these years has been that we don't sound like anybody and nobody sounds like us, and you never know what the next song is going to be like. We never tried to be any one specific type of genre or pigeonhole ourselves. We always just wrote what we had fun doing and wrote about what the fun we were having, and just kept it real and just did what we wanted to do. We didn't try to put ourselves into a genre, and so every album, every recording we've done, one track to the next is always going to be different. You're never going to get two tracks in a row that sound like the same style, or you can tell it's Dephinger, but it's there's touches from so many different types of influences and music in there that it's always made it fun and interesting because you never know what we're going to do next. Why don't you kind of go back to what you were telling me the other night, Mark?
Well, there's a number of the songs that have always just been hits to me. You know, they had pop sensibility and they were singable, and those are the songs I fell in love with first. You know, and as I listened to them more, and then eventually started to play them, I found a new appreciation for some of the songs, some of the deeper tracks that you wouldn't consider maybe the poppier tunes. And as I'm learning them, as I'm playing them, I've got a whole new appreciation for the tunes. And now I can listen to the thing cover to cover, and they're all love songs.
So having Mark in the band, the thing is we've all been friends for a long time. He's a very, very seasoned musician that's well accomplished, that's well educated. I mean, he's got is it a master's degree, Mark?
No, just a bachelor's.
Bachelor's
just a
degree.
bachelor's.
Just a bachelor.
Of course, I'm a bachelor.
He's a bachelor's degree in guitar, and he's
life.
Plays in some jazz bands, and he's played in cover bands. I mean, he's a phenomenal musician, and most phenomenal musicians don't carry an ego with them, or they carry an ego with them, and Mark does not, and he's so easy to work with. And he's just a fantastic player and a good friend, and it was just kind of when it came down to moving forward and kind of starting to do some stuff together, it was a natural fit. Our previous bass player Chris, he moved on to his own project that he is the main singer songwriter in, and it's a awesome project, El Googly Diablo. And we thank him for the 6 years he had in the band, and man, he really the album wouldn't be the same without him, and we love him to death, and I'm sure that we'll share the stage at some point again, with his band and our band, and now we're on to a new era, and we've got the Skarkas from the district in here, and here's the thing is we went through 5 bass players, and then we said, oh well, maybe we just try a guitar player on bass.
So do you guys have anything else happening soon?
What do we have going on? We got a rehearsal coming up next month, don't we?
Yes.
In-person rehearsal?
Not next month, and in-person rehearsal will be in November. So,
But you've got something coming up in September.
oh yeah,
Re-release of 40% Badass on Spotify.
The best thing about it is that you guys all get to listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music or SoundCloud or wherever you get your music. Now you can get 40% Badass because so many people say, I don't have a record player. And you know what? You don't need one now. Anything else that you guys want to mention before we close it out here?
I don't really have anything specific. I mean, other than the fact that I'm glad to, get back at it and, play some tunes. I've missed, sharing the stage with Josh. I mean, me and Josh have had a unbelievable relationship, over the years, and we can pretty much finish each other's sentences, and I'm excited to bring in Mark.
Yeah, you guys have been making music together longer than most people have been married. Is that right?
Oh.
Damn, that's like you guys are married, but like in a band. Married.
Just about,
That's cute.
We've been cheating on each other. We've been cheating on each other with our wives.
Yeah, it's like an open relationship, though. Everyone's in on it.
I still, after 14 years of being with my wife and 20 years of knowing Josh, I'm not sure who I've seen naked more.
Oh man, horrible.
Drive me crazy, with a toy, wanna ride, wanna roll. My baby lights me like a Roman candle. Your loving's way too hard to handle. I feel it coming from miles around. Get so high when I feel the sound, 'cause I'm in love. I'm in love with a tub. Drive me crazy, never enough. I'm in love with a tub. I wanna rock, wanna roll, and some butter, baby.
Hey, Hey, thanks for listening to the 421 podcast. If you liked it, share it with a friend. I'd also like to thank my guests, Nick, Josh, and Mark from Dephinger. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hey, don't forget to follow Dephinger on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music for the digital re-release of 40% Badass on September 11th, 2020.
Rock the house. Now it's time to see those tits. This is where the fun begins.